Gimmicks.
Hello.
I'm Tom.
I'm Joe.
And we are coming to you once again, probably last time for a little while, from the cargo hold.
Yeah.
We decided to do a little bit of the work down here this time. So we brought you liqueurs from down here. We brought you bitters from down here. Now we're going to do something a little more fun and actually get into drinking some stuff. So Joe had a great idea. Why don't you tell us what this idea was?
So, like when you have Jefferson's Oceans, where they say, "Oh, the barrel was on a ship and it went back and forth." It's a gimmick to get you to buy it. Some gimmicks actually stick around for a while, like Jefferson Ocean. Some are just a one-off. These are three gimmicky whiskeys that have seemed to have stuck around for a little bit. They might be hard to find, but they have stood the test of time.
Well, they're not all whiskeys.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. We are veering away from the strictly whiskey. We're branching out like we should.
So
evolving.
So what we've got here, Joe, you've got a whiskey there. What is that whiskey?
This one is blackened, and it's in collaboration with Metallica and a guy named the late Dave Pickerel that worked for Maker's Mark and dang it, another one. Anyway, he was in collaboration with the guys from Metallica to mix this whiskey and this rye. It was, I want to say, MGP for the bourbon, which is odd because MGP makes like 95% of all the rye in this country. And then he got the rye from Canada and Alberta.
Okay.
And then their gimmick is once it's barreled and it's aging, they play Metallica music and they call it black noise, and it pummels the barrels, and it's supposed to make the whiskey seep deeper into the wood.
It's like more of a rapid aging process.
Yeah,
through like sound waves. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. The science behind it's sound. It's whether or not it actually affected anything. We'll find out.
We will find out.
What else do you have here?
All right, so here this is the hybrid. We're gonna branch off a little bit. This is Fortuitous Union. I keep wanting to say Fortunate Sons like this one, but it's Fortuitous Union, and it is a mix of rum and rye, and it was an accident by this Rolling Fork Spirits Company. They had a vat that they were going to they source other people's alcohol and they bottle it themselves and age it differently. So they had a vat that had like maybe 15% of it was full of MGP rye, 5-year-old rye, and then they had another batch of Dominican and Jamaican rum, which is undisclosed. They don't tell you what the blend's going to be, but they were going to blend up their own rum.
Okay. And
the worker accidentally dumped it into the rum into the rye, and the rum company was like, "You're on the hook. We're not giving you any money back." So they well, I guess we have to eat this. So they bottled it. Turns out everyone loved it. This is batch 2, where they just leaned into the mistake and they said, "All right, we want more MGP, more rum. We're going to do this on purpose." And so this is going to be the collaboration of rye and rum.
Okay.
And I'm kind of excited to get spice and sweetness in the same time.
Okay, and then what we got here?
Full blown.
This is rum. Yeah, this one is rum. So it's going to be like we're balancing off each other thing. This is 7 Fathoms rum. I fell in love with this one on a trip I took with my family about 10, 12 years ago to the Cayman Islands. And it can only be found on Grand Cayman. And it is sort of a field to bottle situation where they grow all their sugarcane on the island, process it on the island, distill it on the island, and then it's aged. They buy American bourbon barrels.
Yep.
And
White oak, if you're new.
They don't disclose which distillery it comes from. It may be BT, it could be MGP, it could be Maker's Mark. They don't say. They say white oak American bourbon barrels, and then they put the rum in there. They ship it off the island and to an undisclosed location in the reef, and they sink it 7 fathoms, 42 feet into the water, and let it sit there for an undisclosed amount of time. But as you can see, it's in there a decent amount because there's
some good color.
There's some really good color, and it's unfiltered because you can see down there in the bottom. You can see a little bit. You can see a little bit of char sediment down there, and they let it sit, and the ocean waves just rock those barrels back and forth. And it ages and
like a little over an atmosphere of pressure too.
They're pushing it in, pushing it into the wood because that's one of the things that they've got. The problems with the aging in the tropical areas is they don't have the cold. So you get the hot that pushes that whiskey out into the barrels, but you don't get that cold to push it back out. So you get that atmosphere, you get that hydrostatic pressure that pushes it back out, and then you got it rocking back and forth.
And where they are with high and low tide, that could make it hot and cold.
Yeah, so it works really well. This is one of my favorites. The problem is I have not been back to Grand Cayman, so I've not been able to get a hold of it. There's only one I find comparable to it, and that is John Watling, but it's a completely different process. And we're going to taste this. We're going to let you guys know what we have with it. And then at the end of the show, I'm going to make some old fashions, some rum old fashions. You can decide if you want rum or if you want your fortuitous son based off our tasting.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there. So let's get going. Let's join.
All right. So the Fortuitous Sons is 111.6 proof. So
that's only 80 proof. Yeah. So
let's start with the lowest.
Yeah. Start with
lowest
rum.
Proof.
All right.
7 fathoms.
Yep. It's going to be sweet because it's rum.
Love nice sweet.
Just a nice little half-ounce pour is all I really need. There we go.
Okay. Make sure I'll complement the same. I can already tell I like the color. It looks like a whiskey.
Yeah, it looks like a light whiskey.
Yeah.
Like you can tell it's not as dark as the blackened. And that I'm seeing just
sticking to the glass.
Yeah, I'm seeing that nice. It's not quite a caramel color. It's more like a honey, like an aged tequila to me is what it looks like. I'm seeing it. I don't have my whiteboard sheet to hold it up so you guys can see it, but that's one thing I always told you guys. Remember, keep your whiteboard sheet in your bar. Actually, it's hanging on the wall over there, so we can go grab it.
We'll go grab it.
Yeah. So
and practice what we preach.
Yep. So keep that whiteboard sheet, and that so you can hold your whiskey or your rum or whatever you're drinking up to the color, and you can get a good representation of the color.
I'm a fan of unfiltered. I like getting the floaties in the barrel in the drink.
I'm still seeing that more of a honey color to me. But on the nose, it's light. It's butterscotch on the nose.
That's exactly right. I knew it'd be sweet. Yeah. It doesn't burn too bad. No.
There's no burn at all. It's sweet. It's light. There's vanilla.
Yeah.
To me, that's got to be a function of the bourbon barrel.
Yeah.
And that
the little bit of vanilla makes the bourbon.
Yeah. The corn whiskey doesn't really affect. I mean, I think the sweetness of the sugar cane itself, the rum, probably overpowers any sweetness the corn is going to impart.
Yeah.
So, but I'm getting vanilla, little hint of cinnamon.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, I'd say a little vanilla cinnamon. It picked up some of the wood, and it's just a nice medium long finish, but it doesn't burn.
It doesn't burn at all. It's very smooth.
It's just flavorful finish.
This is a great sipping rum.
Yeah, it is.
And the other people, and I agree with them. Some things other people said about the gimmick with this, the whole 7 fathoms in the ocean part. They tried. A lot of people say you can taste the salinity of the water.
Yeah.
And that I don't know if it's like the power of suggestion. Yeah. I do taste it. It could be.
Do I taste it because they said it's underwater?
Now, people say you taste the ocean on Jefferson's Ocean, but I never have. This I do get a salinity, and I think the reason is because Jefferson's is aged on the boat.
Correct.
It's just there. This is actually submerged.
And the boat could be a barge that goes to China and back 3 times. And it's pretty, stable and inside of a metal canister. We don't know.
Right.
Or it could be on. Could be on Old Ironsides yourself. We don't know.
I think because it is the barrel is actually submerged, and some of that salt water has the ability, to get into there. It's real light. I mean, it's not overpowering salinity. It's right on the end, and it's right on my lips.
Yeah.
It's not anywhere else.
Yeah, it's not in the mouth. It's not on the throat. You're right. Just as a little caveat to the finish, you go.
This is a bottle I baby on my bar because I can't get it again. And I've got no plans of going back to the Grand Caymans for a little while. But if any of you are going, shoot me a message and I'll pay you for the bottle.
Yeah.
So
about $80 10 years ago. Yep. So I'm sure it's $100 now.
Yep.
Wow, that is a really,
Mm-hmm.
that's a really good one. I can see why it's lasting.
All right, I do need to get us some water so we can rinse that out.
All
Go
right.
ahead and start talking about the other ones
Alrighty.
that we got while I'm doing that.
Okay, so next we're going to go with blackened. This is going to be bourbon and a rye mixture. It's going to be, like I said, MGP in Alberta. It's 45% alcohol, 90 proof. It's about $45 a bottle. We can see it's got a amber color, probably a little bit deeper than the other guys because it's, it's got bourbon. So it's sat in a hard charred barrel for a while. Anyway, so Dave Pickerel with Whistle Pig, he worked for them too. Whistle Pig and Maker's Mark, and he moved on. He has passed away, and someone else has stepped in his shoes to carry on the mantle. And
There's water to rinse out our glasses.
yep, and we are going to, without further ado,
Try this.
try this out.
See if we can fade the black.
Yes.
So,
Okay. Black in the world. This is batch 135. If you want to go out and compare batches, and I'm not sophisticated yet enough to, I'd have to have two batches next to each other. I couldn't taste and tell you what batch it is.
now that's
If
dark.
you're that good, you won't be watching us.
That's a little bit darker than that rum.
I can see that. What do you expect? It's got bourbon. So
Right, so
it was
get that color. You see that, guys?
It's a Kentucky or Indiana Rickhouse. So
Yep.
legs are. It's got a little oily. It's a little bit of legs. That's it's 45%. It's not all alcohol.
Right.
Okay, so we got a little
There's something fruity on that nose.
raisins, maybe.
You know what it
Is that a
reminds
fruit?
me of? Well, yeah, raisins are, and that would make sense because it's
I'm getting brown sugar.
it's almost sweet like brandy
Yeah.
on the nose,
Yeah.
like a fine cognac or an Armagnac. That's surprising.
Yeah, considering I just thought it was gonna be like all the stuff MGP makes.
It does not taste like it smells.
No, it doesn't. Now I'm getting those golden raisins that I
Yeah,
thought
it's sweet.
that I thought I smelled. Now I got it.
It's sweet, but it's not weedy sweet.
No.
So, like,
No,
everybody
yeah.
knows how Maker's Mark is
Yeah,
sweet. 'cause
Maker's
it's
and
weeded,
Larceny, yeah,
and
it's weeded.
Woodford,
Mhm.
it's weeded. Yeah, they're sweet, but this is a different kind of sweet. I don't know if it's because my palate still has rum on it. Could be making it sweet, but that's
I can taste the Enter the Sandman.
yeah.
I don't know what the sonic part did to it, but
You get enough of these in there, you're gonna master your puppet.
yes.
So there you go. I'll do that.
It is good. $45. I would share this
Yeah.
with my friends and not feel bad about it.
Fuel and fire.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that which I desire. So we're all good. Very good. And
Bold
the finish-
flavors, man. I really like
The flavor.
simple, bold, and good.
The finish is lighter than I expected.
Yeah.
It really is.
Probably the way I down the hatch that thing is not very dangerous.
Yeah, you sit down around a campfire with your boys.
Mm-hmm. Next
And
thing you
that-
know, it's empty.
Yeah. You have a
I can see
cigar.
this happening.
Yeah, that's gonna be this fall that might have to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little Ryan Bourbon, get both of my fixes at once.
Now, what do we think the black noise actually did to it?
I don't know. Sped up the aging, saved them some money.
Yeah.
That's why it's $45 instead of
Yeah.
$90. I don't know. I made that up. This is the one I've been looking forward to. I mean, the Seven Fathoms is top notch, but I've never had anything like this.
Yes.
So let's hope. It's got 4 batches out there. This is batch 2, the one that they did on purpose. Let's see.
If anybody's ever had batch 1,
Yeah.
shoot us a
sure
message.
it was
Shoot
probably
us a
just
message
like
for the
that.
tasting notes. So.
Whoops, I got you.
Oh, that's
Sorry.
fine.
That'll be sweet. So, 85% rum. They don't tell you who the rum distilleries are. They just said
Jamaican and Dominican.
Jamaican and Dominican.
Well, there's
Unknown.
some really good ones. I mean, Jamaican, you've got the Appleton distilleries there. And that's one of the, you got, Myers.
God.
Myers is owned by Sazerac, so.
Okay.
But you could have those there. Dominican, you got Kurt and Sweeney.
Okay.
That's a really good rum. So we'll do a rum episode where I can just walk you through the different regions.
School us.
And that, but if it has anything to do with any of those, it's going to be top notch stuff.
Yes.
So.
All right. So these were aged in new charred oak barrels, just like a bourbon would be, and then they finished it in Woodford Reserve double oak. And I'm a big fan of double oak. Like that's just the when you think of whiskey, like that's what whiskey's supposed to taste like.
Yeah, I do like double oak. Yeah. So too bad you can't get a handle of that around here.
Yeah.
And you can only get them in those
the little ones.
Yeah. So. Oh,
it
wow.
So sweet, doesn't it? Isn't that weird?
That's definitely.
This is like $95 a bottle. It's special, so based on the smell and the color, I'm down with it.
That's dominant Jamaican rum right there.
Yeah.
There's a fun. If you guys don't know Jamaican rum, there's a process to Jamaican rum, and it's what's called a dunder pit. And to be a true Jamaican rum, it has to go through this process where what they do is they have their fermentation, and then in the middle of the fermentation tank, there's a spout, and what they do is they drain off. They drain off all they drain off all the wort, the wash.
Yeah.
And they put it into the still. I can't talk right now. That they take all the wash, they put it in the still, and they distill it. Well, then what they do is they take that leftover liquid. You don't get all the liquid out of the still. They put it back in the fermenter.
Yeah.
They re-sugar it. They refeed it, re-yeast it, and so all that old flavors are still there.
Okay.
And then what they'll do is once they get done that enough times and the process goes through, what they'll do is they'll take some of that's left over, and then they put it in the new batch.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like their version of
skillet.
It's their version of a sour mash.
Okay.
Yeah, it's their version of a sour mash, but it's called a dundering process. And any real Jamaican rums, they're going to have that funk flavor to it.
Yes.
And they're going to have that funk smell, and it's from the sour. It's basically their sour mash.
So I couldn't describe it. It was sweet and funky.
And funky. Yeah, it's like a sweet mushroom. Right there.
Wow.
It's earthy.
When you taste it.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Boy, this is going to go in the rotation already. Just one taste.
And it doesn't burn like 114.
No.
I mean,
we could have started with this. Because the blackened tasted hotter than this.
Yeah, if you gave this to me and did not tell me what it was, I would guess 105.
And I would guess it was a rum. But
yeah,
something spicy was in it, and I couldn't figure out where the spicy came from. I would have blamed it on the barrel.
Yeah, it's so sweet.
Yeah,
I mean, it's very sweet.
Yeah.
But that's a function of Dominican rums. Dominican rums are sweeter. Jamaican rums are earthier and more of a funk to them. Yeah. And I don't know.
My taste buds are making a question mark right now.
To me, this tastes
really
like
good.
it's a heavier Jamaican blend.
Yeah.
Because it's got that heavy funk to it, but it's got a distinct sweetness of Dominican rums. But then there's that rye. There's a rye spice on the back end. There's baking spices there. I'm tasting just on the back end. I'm tasting like allspice. I'm tasting brown sugar. I'm tasting nutmeg. I mean,
it opens up like a whiskey. I swear to God.
Just a little bit of water.
If you're new to this, we have an episode where we show you just put a few drops in, and it kind of stints the alcohol and opens up the ingredients. You can taste the ingredients or what the distiller wants you to. Sometimes it totally changes it. Sometimes it just dilutes it.
Well, I'll tell you what. For me, dropping that water in, I did put a little too much in.
Top her off?
No, it's fine. It makes it smell more like a rye. It opens up those baking spices. It opens up the rye.
Yeah, somehow putting a drop of water in it made it a little hotter because I'm getting the rye opening.
Yeah, well, I get the spice, but I'm not getting any heat. This almost putting that water in there makes it almost as sweet and smooth as the Seven Fathoms. It's very, very good. See, gimmicks can work. And that they don't always. I mean, it's.
Yeah, sometimes it's a one-off.
Yeah, sometimes it's just a marketing ploy to sell things. Sometimes it actually works. So what you got to, the only way you're going to know is if you're going to taste it. And honestly, a lot of times the bottles are overpriced for just tasting. Like blackened, I'm not $45 a bottle. I'm not going to feel bad about that.
Yeah.
And that if I have to take a trip to a Caribbean island, well, twist my arm, but
that adds to the price of the bottle.
Yeah, it adds massively to the price of the bottle. You're not going to get it. this is why one of the reasons I joined the St. Louis Whiskey Society, and I think one of the reasons Joe founded it, was so people can taste things that they're not ordinarily going to taste.
Yeah, like this would be $300 a pour,
right?
If they had to go only get it from there,
right?
But what if I hated it?
Yeah,
you just pay $25. You and your buddies chip in.
Yeah, you chip in, you get it,
and then you know.
Yeah, and
hey, that's worth $300. I'm buying it.
Right, because there's some we bought.
Garbage.
There's some we brought in that were just terrible.
Yeah,
and you're just like, I am never buying it again. I'm glad I only paid my dues to get in here.
Some are just overhyped. It's like, it's good, but I'm not trying to knock on anybody. Just our little group and our little corner of the world on that particular week. Mm-hmm. Johnny Blue, people were like, I've always wanted to try Johnny Blue. And then we had it and we're like, the bottle actually stuck around for like a year because nobody was touching it.
Yeah, nobody really wanted it. Mm-hmm. And it's...
it was good, not great.
Even our Scotch drinkers.
Yeah, they were like,
going to our Scotch guys.
Correct.
But then we've also had... we've had situations
where... Frank Sinatra. I hate Jack. I drink them like, I love this.
Yeah, and then we've had times where the cheapest bottle on the table won the night.
Yeah, the one from the tore down...
Yeah, the
distillery.
rocks. Yeah.
What was Blue?
It was Blue Note.
Yes.
Yeah, it was Blue Note.
Phenomenal.
And it was a Survivor barrel, and it was the cheapest.
Yes.
It was the cheapest high octane we had on the table.
If you see it on a shelf, leave it in the comments and tell us because I'll drive pretty far for that.
Yeah, it was really good. But then we've also had some that we thought were worth it, like when we did the Rabbit Hole, and that.
Expensive, but worth it.
Yeah, and is it worth $4,000 a bottle?
No.
Is it worth $300 a bottle?
Absolutely. And I never thought I'd say that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as an amateur, I am still an amateur, but way back then, I was like, come on.
Yeah.
What could possibly be worth this much a bottle? And then we tasted it and we're like, holy cow.
Yeah, and there's some that I'm not going to name names on because I don't want to disparage them, but there's some that people hunt for that everyone wants, and they cost $2,000 to $3,000 a bottle.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I had it. I didn't like it.
No.
And I'm like,
it was very smooth Blanton's.
Yeah. That's all it was. And I think everybody knows what we're talking about now.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. We're not going to take up any more of your time on this end. Now, once we finish this up, I am going to walk us through making a rum old fashioned. And we're going to go on that direction. And I will see you in just a couple minutes. All right, welcome back, everybody. We are now going to do a quick cocktail lesson. Now, because you know, I'm a nerd.
My favorite.
Yep. So what we're going to go through, Joe and I both decided we want rum old fashions, but we want them slightly different. So what we're going to do, Joe, why don't you get in the top of that freezer there?
Yes.
Right in front, there's going to be 2 ice balls right to your right-hand side in a black container.
Oh.
Yep.
Bingo.
And that, go ahead and get those. Oh, no, those are the road. They should be right in front.
Oh, yeah. You have some in front too.
Yep, they should be right there. So, no, not those.
What's wrong with me?
Not those, right
Bingo.
there. All right.
I apologize, folks.
No problem. Joe's already
Live
had a
TV.
few. He's had a few already. So, we're going to get there. We're going to get these ice balls down in these glasses. All right, ready to go. I always like slow melting ice balls with my cocktails unless it calls for crushed ice or anything like that because it just gives you that nice, smooth experience going through. So, everybody knows. Okay, Joe, I've taught you this. What is the recipe for an old-fashioned?
You need something bitter, something sweet, and then the alcohol.
All right. Water, spirit, bitters, sugar.
Sugar. Yeah.
That's what you got. All right. So, it's water, obviously, is your ice. That my old-fashions all get stirred, and that I don't like going through. You know what? We're going to mix these right in glass. I am not even going to use these right here because I don't want
spirits.
I don't want to dilute them any more than they need to be.
Good call.
And that, so we're going to mix these right in the glass. So Joe, go around the front of the bar over on that end. You're going to see my stuff up there. Just go ahead and pull me out a bar spoon, and that in the glass cylinder over there. All right, so pull me a bar spoon, and we'll go ahead and work with that. All right. Remember, when you're making your cocktails, unless you're someone who's done it quite a bit and is just idiotic like I am, use a jigger for your measurements. I'm going to measure out our spirits in the jigger, but the other ingredients I'm not going to do. So, all right, we have our water here. Minimal dilution on this one because I'm just going to use the ice. We're using rum on these, at least because I'm going to have rum and you're going to have the
Fortuitous Union.
The Fortuitous Union.
I know, I did the same thing.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do, instead of using the usual orange bitters with this, I'm going to run with those tiki bitters.
Okay.
And we can go ahead and go with that. Yep.
We're going to the Caribbean liquor.
Yep. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3 drops of tiki bitters. You can see, if you look at those ice cubes, you can actually see some of the spices and that are in these tiki
bitters.
You can. Sitting right there on top of them. All right,
as the liquid runs down, you can see the little speckles that got left.
Yep. All right, now we're not going to need quite as much sugar in this
sugar-based alcohol
because we have it's very sweet alcohol. So ordinarily, I'll do like, if I do 2 ounces of spirit, I'll do like a full ounce of sugar in it.
Yeah.
I'm only going to do half an ounce of sugar.
Got it.
Simply because now, if I was going to do like a rye or a bourbon with this, I would do the full sweetness.
It could stand to be sweetened up a little more.
Now, what I'm doing here, guys, look, I dropped those bitters right on that ice cube, and there I'm going to pouring this right over the top of them to wash them in. All right, so that just gets them all set there. I wipe these out because I just don't feel like dripping simple syrup all over the top of my bar.
Yeah, it makes it sticky.
Yeah, it makes it sticky.
You want ants? That's how you get ants.
All right, I'm going to make Joe's first. I'm going to be nice.
Thank you.
So, get here.
If you didn't see the last part, Fortuitous Union, it's 15% rye, 85% Dominican Jamaican rum. It was such a unique. You just need to rewind. It's very unique.
All right, there's it. 2 ounces, 2 full ounces. Usually, an old-fashioned recipe calls for 1.5, but that's also when you're going to dilute and you're going to have some extra volume from the stirring. And Mama didn't raise no bitch, so I'm going to.
And sacrilegious of us to take an expensive alcohol and dilute it, but these are just really good, unique liquors. We can't replace them, and we just want to do everything with it.
Right. And I'm running mine with the 7 Fathoms. Okay. I'm hoping that is not overly sweet, but we've got there. All right, got it set. I'm going to stir mine first because it's rum and Joe's has rye in his, and I don't want any rye in mine at the moment. Just stir it up just enough to mix up all that sugar and that simple syrup, get it combined with the alcohol, ready to go. Then make sure all of that tiki bitters has washed down in there, and that to give it the aromatics.
This is going to go great with like a harsh cigar. This is awesome.
Garnish it with an orange twist, and these are my Rainier cocktail cherries. They are making their debut tonight. And no one else has ever had these. And we're going through a little orange twist and a Rainier cocktail cherry.
Yeah,
ready to go. All right, there's yours, my boy. Here's mine. Cheers.
Cheers. Wow.
Really good.
I can see why rich people like to be rich, because I would just keep these on repeat.
Yeah, it's super sweet, but that's to be expected.
Yeah, sugar based.
The only thing I would probably change from mine, I don't know about yours yet because I haven't tasted it, but mine, I would change it from simple syrup to maybe a Demerara syrup.
Okay.
And that give it a little bit of a more of a burnt flavor.
Mm-hmm.
And that
oh, yours smells sweeter.
Yeah, it's super sweet. Yeah, definitely the rye bite in that definitely changes.
Yeah, it knocked down my sweetness just the right amount that I needed.
So I would go with this. With that, with the Fortuitous.
And this is just a great sipping rum anyway.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be mixed up.
Yeah.
We just so did it.
All right. Well, that's what we got with some rum old fashions there, everyone. I hope you learned a little bit from these gimmicks that we chose to pick. They all seem to work out pretty well. Not every gimmick will.
No.
If you've run across something that was particularly good or particularly bad on a gimmick, go ahead and leave it in the comments.
Yeah.
That way we can share it out to everyone, and everyone knows what worked, what didn't work.
More episodes to come. A lot of our information goes to the St. Louis Whiskey Society, and which goes out to other clubs because it's just a conglomerate of clubs. It's going to get out there, and it's a way to amplify your voice.
Yep. So we appreciate you watching. We appreciate you listening. And until next time, welcome to the Below Decks. Cheers.
Cheers.
Doing best thing in town, on my own feet now. Don't go, dinner's done. Don't matter, I'm having fun. I'm chasing the setting sun. It's a chain reaction, got it by my feet. It's the rubber rubbing up against the concrete. The wind begins to blow harder as I start to race. Everything on keys and greasy. Put a smile on my face. Finding equilibrium, left to right. The first time I felt this way in all of my life. Leave it up to balance the steer. Where I'm at, it is still unclear. All the thoughts in my head, I can still remember what you said. Look out, I'm gonna kill you dead. Finding equilibrium, moving left to right. The first time I felt this way in all of my life. If I fall, but I think I reached my goal. I found a new part of my soul, and now I have control. Where I was all becoming clear. What was once far away is now near. I can't believe all the hours we spent on the multicolored can. I can just